taking a much more deeper dive and moving ahead of the discussion on wine. So what really is real-time customer engagement? How can you execute a real-time customer engagement? And more importantly, why is the real-time engagement really required? So the real-time customer engagement today is being dictated by the customers of today and future. And who are the customers of today and future? It is the millennials and what we refer to as the Generation Z now. India is a very young nation. 50% of India population is below the age of 25. By 2020, the average age in India is expected to be around 29. And if I look from a tele-density perspective, India has a tele-density of about 84%. And the mobile internet connections in India is close to about 450, which is about 40% of our population, and around 225 users on the social media platforms. So when this young generation interacts with an enterprise and an organization, the expectation and the behavior that they have is similar to the expectation and the behavior that they have when they really engage with any enterprise to get any of their services need done or any of the sales opportunity. What is the expectations the Generation Z has today when they engage with the enterprise? They essentially want the organization to adapt to their needs rather than they adapting to the organization need. They want the organization to fit into their life. They don't want to be restricted to a specific numbers that they need to be calling in. So the generation of today, in the morning when they're looking at news on Twitter, that is where they go for their news, not the newspaper. That is when they would probably remember they need to get in touch with their bank to really understand how their investments are going on or how their insurance coverage is being covered today. So they would want to reach on Twitter to their bank. And in the afternoon when they're having lunch with friends or posting videos on the Facebook, that is when they want to use a Facebook Messenger probably to reach out to their bank to understand if they have the right credit card and the right reward points that they're getting in. So essentially it is about supporting the customers of today and fitting into their life rather than being dictated to work as per the process of the organization. The other expectation that the customers today really have is around personalization. There is a lot of data that is available today. And that data needs to be used by the organization when they interact with their customer. The days of giving a canned response are gone. It needs to be personalized, not just to the segment, but to the individual customers there. And the context and continuity is the other critical piece. Yes, it is important to give the flexibility to the customer to engage on the channel of their choice. But what is more important is to really be able to have a consistent experience across all the channels. And also, what was the context in the last conversation be seamlessly carried into the next conversation. So just to give you an example, if I'm a customer of a bank for a home loan, I'm going through my portfolio to look at what are the interests being charged, is it beneficial for me to close that home loan through a prepayment? And then I have a specific question, I go into the contact center. My expectation is that the agent who is taking my call really knows what I've been doing on the website and be able to answer those specific questions rather than starting from the scratch. Similarly, the other example could be when you're waiting on hold to speak to an agent, that is a situation that no one likes. But the best and the least that the organization can do in such a scenario is play out some specific message for that particular customer rather than any music going on. For example, you could dip into a CRM to look at what could be the complaints that the customer might have made earlier, what are the tickets open. So probably he's calling in for the status of those tickets and you update him on that status of the ticket rather than playing a music while he's on hold. So this is about context and continuity. And what does all of this really translates into? Bottom line, it really translates into minimizing the effort of the customer. I think today customers are wanting to engage and get the answers on their own rather than speaking to the human. Voice is no longer a preferred mean of interaction for any of the customers today. They would want to engage over a text medium because text response are much more faster. You don't want to be waiting 60 seconds to be asking a question if you can get an answer in 6 seconds. So it is about simplifying the life of the customer being able to serve on their own.